They were rampaging along, won their first 2 games. They've lost their last 2, but they could have probably won both of them.
Fantastic looking facility there in the deep south.
I'm sure they're going to come out firing tonight.
From memory, he was leading last week. Are you going to be leading this week, or?
From bottom with 6 points and second from bottom with 5. Yes and no. Yes and no. It paid off for them. They got a 2, double the 4 and won 6 points. Depends what the teams above you do, doesn't it?
Unbiased, Miles Davis.
Welcome to another edition of Unbiased with Miles Davis, where we look at the stories behind the magnificent game in New Zealand. Today, we're going to do a double header or a triple header. It's a double header for me. 2 of the young up-and-comers in the world of New Zealand bowls, Nicole Toomey and Finbar McGuigan, join me. Welcome to both of you. I'll start with you, Nicole. Ladies first, as I'm old school. Whereabouts did you come into the world, Nicole? Where were you born and where were you brought up?
So I was born in Wellington, and I've lived here my whole life. So
whereabouts in Wellington?
In Kingston, which is in kind of central.
No, it was central. So Kingston's that suburb that no one really wants to go to. It's like Brooklyn, the 2 of them. They're the 2 suburbs no one wants to go to.
Yeah, it's about 2 minutes from Brooklyn, but it's nice. It's quiet and not a busy area, so it's good.
I was actually asking where you were actually born. Were you born in Kingston? What hospital were you born in?
Oh, Wellington Hospital.
Yeah, good. A great place. I've had 2 of my boys born there. What about you, Finn?
I was born in Wellington Hospital as well, and grew up in Plymouton.
Oh, that's quite a posh part of the world to be brought up in there. And have you been? Were you in Plymouton for the whole of your growing up, or was that just where you were when you were born?
Most of my life, spent 18 years in Plymouton.
It's a beautiful part of the world. Okay, Nicole, where did you go to primary school?
St. Bernard's in Brooklyn.
You're not going to move out of that area. Do you remember much about it?
Yeah, it was a very small school, Catholic, obviously. I think we had about 80 students. In my final year, I think we had 5 year 8 students. So, yeah, it was nice and small and got lots of one-on-one time with the teachers, which was good.
I suppose it's good if you've got a good teacher. What about you, Finbar? Where did you go to primary school?
I went to Plymouton Primary School.
Is that a small school as well? I wouldn't imagine it'd be too massive a one.
It was fairly big. I think we had around 400 kids there.
That's reasonable size. Yeah, that surprises me.
Yeah, it went up to year 8, so we missed out intermediate.
Right. Okay. Get you guys going to college. I'll go backwards and forwards like a tennis ball between the 2 of you. Okay, Nicole. What about where did you go to college?
Well, they don't have a college in Brooklyn, so I had to move out of there.
Yeah.
I went to St. Mary's in Thorndon.
That's a good school. A mate of mine used to teach there, actually. So you may have been traumatised by him at some stage. We'll talk about him later. And what were you like as a student?
I was quiet. Just got my work done. I think my favourite subject was when I got to do Gateway, which meant I could go and do work experience somewhere for a day. So I missed a day of school. That was fun.
Yeah, so you weren't Matt. You didn't really enjoy the academic side. What about sport? Did you play a bit of sport at school?
Just bowls. I started off with netball, and then gave that away after year 10, and then just focused on the bowls, really.
That's fair enough too. And no finer game to get involved in. What about you, Finbar? Where did you go to college?
I went to Altair College just outside of Porirua.
Right, it's the top school that actually, and quite a few athletes coming out of there. What were you like as a student? Don't tell me you were teacher's pet, weren't you?
I wasn't the most gifted academically. I did like going there to play sport, and didn't really enjoy the school side of things, but
it's amazing, actually. I think there's only been about one person I've spoken to on the whole of this series of podcasts that actually enjoyed going to school. And and applied themselves academically. What other, presumably you'd have been into the sport, Finbar. Did you play a lot of sport at school?
Yeah, I played most sports I could do. Played rugby, cricket, basketball, underwater hockey. Yeah, I tried a bit of everything.
Underwater hockey, that's always struck me as a really strange and dangerous game. I mean, do you have snorkels when you play that, or do you just have the free dive?
Yeah, snorkels and flippers, just like you go diving, snorkeling and stuff. It's a great sport, not the best spectator sport though.
They'd probably be able to do it nowadays, actually, with all these flash underwater cameras and graphics and things. So they're probably a lot better than that.
Yeah.
And Nicole, what did you do when you left school? Although I think the pair of you, Finbar especially, I think you haven't left that long ago. But what did you do when you left school, Nicole?
I took a gap year and I did relieving for early childhood centres. And then after that year, I did my Bachelor of Teaching Early Childhood. So pretty much worked full time.
Well, that's pretty good. And whereabouts did you do that?
It was in Wellington and Thorndon. There's a separate institution called Te Rito Maioha, which just focuses on early childhood teachers. So you don't have to do extra papers and stuff. It's only stuff that's, I guess, relative to your degree. So that was good.
And what was it that made you want to sort of be involved in early childhood?
Oh, I've always been good with kids. And so when I was at college and I did my gateway, I did work experience at an early childhood centre just to see if I liked it. And that centre that I did work experience and I ended up working in for 8 years after that. So, yeah.
Well, that's not, well, yeah, look, that's not too bad an effort, is it? So you've obviously picked something that you enjoy. Finbar,
Yeah.
what about you, Finbar?
So I also did the Gateway program, and I got a full-time job straight after school building sports fields. So putting in drainage, irrigation, all the sand carpets, doing that, and I'm still at that job now.
That's quite an intense form of it, isn't it? I mean, I've seen that you were a groundsman, but I assume I'll go out and mow the lawns, put a bit of weed killer here and there, but you actually do the more technical stuff in the preparation of the grounds.
Yeah. So I did that for 3 years through the same company, and now I'm a groundsman for the council parks.
So now you're just mowing the lawns.
No, not quite. Throw a bit of fertilizer out.
And what grounds? You just look after all the council grounds?
Yeah, we look after the Hutt City parks, and I look after Nainai and Delaney Park. You must have heard of that stomping ground.
I have, yeah, Delaney Park. That's in the Stokes Valley. Is Delaney Park in Stokes Valley? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, off George Street.
Yeah. I think I've played rugby out there, and I think I might have even played football out there as well.
Yeah.
I have spent a bit of time in the valley, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Your guys' connections with Stoke Valley. Nicole, you said that at school bowls was the sport you got into. I understand that you've got a big family history in the game.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up around the bowling green. So my grandparents, both parents played. My brother plays. So yeah, it was kind of in the blood to start playing lawn bowls. I kind of got sick of watching, and at that age we weren't allowed to stay home alone. So I decided to pick up a bowl instead of watch.
And so, what age do you think you were when you first started rolling it?
Well, I didn't sign up as a member until about 13, but yeah, I would have been mucking around on the green with the parents since I was quite little.
Fantastic. And when did you first realise that you had a bit of an aptitude for it?
I don't know. I kind of just keep going to the age competitions, so secondary school nationals and the Kitty Hawks and stuff, and then I eventually won the secondary school nationals, and I was like, oh yeah, this is all right, and kept managing to do some good on the greens, so still going.
That must have been a bit of a thrill winning the secondary school nationals.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't expected, but I now have a thing for the Christchurch greens, so they're probably one of my favourite greens to play on.
So you won it down there. Fair enough, too. I can understand your affinity for it. Finbar, what about you? When did you first start playing bowls? You've played all these other sports. I don't know how you managed to find time for it, but when did you first start playing?
I started when I was 10, and bowls was probably on the least prioritised sport that I played. And then I ended up breaking my leg playing rugby. So I was sitting on a couch for 3 months and I couldn't really get the fitness back. So I decided, let's give bowls a proper nudge.
I need to find a couple of things here. Firstly, Finbar, run us through the injury. Who were you playing against and where was it? What happened?
Well, I wish it was a really heroic story, but it was actually at a training. And I think it was just an awkward fall. I had a few guys fall on top of me, and then I remember breaking it and just going into shock, and it was my femur that was broken.
Ouch!
Yeah.
That takes a hell of a lot. And who were you training? Was that a school? Was that a school training?
No, Paraplim Rugby Club.
A very well-known Wellington club there, Parramatta Plimerton. So why did you, Finbar, though? Why did you sort of gravitate towards bowl? 10's a young age. Was it with your family playing?
Yeah, so my dad started playing probably two years before me, and we used to live right across the road from the bowling club, and I always used to go down and watch him and have a few rolls, and I had a good mate, Seamus, which was playing at the time, so I decided to play, and yeah, I won the Plimerton singles title when I was 13. Probably made me want to pursue the sport and really try and get good at it.
How was the reaction of the the more senior members of the club when this little greenhorn goes and wins that?
They were actually really good because I think we had about 4 people around the same age group. So obviously when we first started, they didn't want to play with us and everything, but I think they just realised that these kids are pretty good players. So we started to get the respect pretty quickly, which was very nice.
Yeah, I think I've heard that a lot, especially lately. I think the attitudes are definitely changing and positive, and young people are being welcomed more and more. Nicole, you must have had the potential to upset people early on, winning titles. How did you go at the club, and when did you have your first sort of club success?
I can't even remember.
You've won so many things, haven't you, Nicole? You've just won so much. It's just, can you remember Finbar when she first won something?
No, sorry, Miles, can't help you there.
So have a little dig through, Nicole, to see if you can sort of through your memory banks.
I think it was potentially a Club 4 title within the first few years of me playing, maybe. Yeah, I think I won a couple of 2 or 3 Club 4's titles before going on to win, I think, a triples and a singles, and then eventually a pairs. So I got the whole lot at some point.
The whole thing. So what about centre titles?
I've got 2. I won the centre mid-years with my brother. I can't remember what year that was. Maybe 2013.
Yeah, I think that's the date that I've got written down here.
There you go. And then a Champ of Champions title as well a few years back.
What about you, Finbar?
Yes, I won my first one 2 years ago. That was the centre triples title, and then got 2 last season, which was the pairs and the 4s.
So you're one more step closer to your gold star than Nicole is.
I've lost a few finals and semi-finals, which I don't like saying, but to lose some to win one.
Yeah, that's what they say. You've got, and it's a good philosophy to have. Although it's also good that you don't enjoy the experience of losing, so it encourages you to go back to try and go one better. Nicole, when did you play your first nationals? When did you actually get to a national?
You're asking some hard questions here.
These are the easy ones. The hard ones come
No,
later.
okay. My first nationals was in Wellington. I don't know how many years ago. Would have been maybe 8 years ago. There hasn't been
That's-
many nationals in Wellington, so yeah, we'll go with that.
That's a good. And what do you find? I'll ask you first, Nicole. What do you find the difference between playing? When you first go to a nationals and you've played, at your club, you played regionals, but then you go to these nationals. What's the difference that you feel within yourself?
Oh, well, when you play in the club and within your own region, you know what to expect and you know who to look out for. And then when you go to nationals, there's all of a sudden a whole bunch of names that you haven't heard of, and you could draw a first-year junior, or you could draw someone that's been playing for 20 years or so. So it's a real mixed bag, but it's definitely an awesome experience.
Yeah. Everyone tells me that, but it's a fantastic experience, and you get to create experiences and friendships at those. Finbar, what about when was your first nationals? I'm sure you can remember.
I can remember the place. It was North Harbour, but do you know what year that was, Nicole?
Well, it was the year I got to the final in Peers with Caitlin, but I can't remember what year.
2016.
Yeah, there you go. Would that be it?
Would that be right? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll go with that.
Let's go with 2016. The thing I'm fascinated though is that both of you have, people already know this, but both of you have actually won your award, the Somerset Awards this year, as the emerging player, female and male, which is an amazing achievement for you. How much bowls have you actually played together?
Probably not.
Just the Vipers, isn't it?
Yeah, probably just bowls 3-5.
Yeah.
So now, Finbar, are you a member of Stokes Valley?
Yeah.
All right, and has that been where you've been playing most of your bowls?
I played most of my bowls at Plymouton. I think it's 4th year at Stokes Valley now.
All right, so you're actually a member there. Nicole, so you mentioned that the Stokes Valley Vipers, with a fantastic run, won the last year's bowls 3-5. But you're an interloper, because I understand that you're a Victoria member.
Yeah, so I do belong to both clubs, but I'm actually playing most of my stuff out of Stokes Valley this year.
Oh.
And I played my club champs out of Stokes Valley last year as well. So,
well, why is that? Why the move? Because I know you've got a big family association at Victoria. So why the move?
it's closer to home. So I moved out the hut a couple of years ago, and now I'm working in Upper Hut too. So obviously the chance to play for the Vipers was huge, and so yeah, it's just convenience really. Still get to play for the Vipers, and it's closer to home. And we've just bought a house in Stokes Valley too. So yeah.
When you say we, who's the other half?
Me and my partner and my mum. So we went thirds.
That's fair enough. Forget the mum bit. What about your partner? So introduce us to him.
So his name's David, and he's a fitness instructor.
Does he give you sort of extra lessons, or do you just tell him to leave his work at the studio?
I mean, he gives me some workout programs, and then I go in for a couple of sessions and then complain about how I'm got sore legs and stuff from it, and he just goes, well, you know what you got to do, you got to go back and more. So I don't know, I go through phases of actually following his programs and not following it, but yeah.
What about you, Finbar? Have you got another half?
I do have another half, Miles.
All right, come on, you've got to spill the details. Nicole owned up.
So I actually met my other half on a bowls trip, funny enough.
Oh, whereabouts?
At North East Valley, down in Dunedin.
Right, so now this isn't one of those long distance love affairs, is it, Finbar? Was she going down from Wellington, or was she from another part of the country?
No, she was from Dunedin, so it's a long term relationship. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. You see, people, how romantic the game of bowls is. A lot of people didn't realise that one. Talk about that. Let's talk about that. The 3-5. One thing that I noticed with you guys is that you seem to really, I mean, most teams get on, but there seemed to be a special sort of chemistry with the main three of you, with Seamus Curtin, as you said. You've been at school with him, so you've known him and you've been friends with him for a long while at Finbar. But Nicole, how long had you known Seamus? Had you just met him when you went to join the Stokes Valley Vipers?
No, he's been around the Bowling Green for quite a while, and I remember back when we were playing secondary school nationals, I think it was. I think he was still at intermediate, but he was around the green, I think, just playing bowls and maybe with his mum as well. So I've known him since he was about 12 or so.
Yeah, that's probably only about 5 years, but no, I'm only because he's so young. I'm only teasing. He must be knocking 20 now, almost 21. He must be turning into an old man. Finbar, you guys, and I want both of you now to be able to tell stories on the other ones, but without anything that can get us into trouble with the law. But you guys, it was always, when you finish playing in your Bowls 3-5, because you guys are coming up from Wellington, often you have to stay overnight. Who's the worst one for not letting anyone else go to sleep?
Definitely Seamus.
Is he the one who wants to stay up and have one more for the road?
Oh, he wouldn't be opposed to it, but he's also a terrible sleep talker, Miles.
Oh no, I used to suffer from that. Unfortunately, now I talk too much during the day. I can't do it. I can't do it at night. So have you roomed with him, presumably, Finbar, or you've stayed with him at different times? What does it give you a bit of a fright when it happens?
Yeah, sometimes he ends up not waking up because he's still sleep talking, but he's just yelling. He just sits up out of bed and just starts yelling, and it wakes you up pretty quickly.
I can imagine that. Do you know what's going to happen, Finbar? One night they're going to be a murderer coming into the room, and he'll be screaming, and you'll just go, "Shut up and go back to sleep." And Jason, with his hockey mask, will get hold of you. Nicole, I'd like to talk to you about what a special. Winning Bowls 3-5 was a fantastic achievement. There may be people listening here who don't realise the quality of the players. You've got multiple national champions, world champions playing in that. So it's a magnificent achievement, especially for a side that is so young as your one was. I think your average age would have been about 21, 22 or something, maybe like that, around there. Maybe I'm being a bit sort of slightly out. But you had an even bigger occasion earlier on this year in January. Run us past that.
Just casually won the national singles. But yeah, it was pretty amazing, really. I didn't expect it, but it's one of those ones that you always have in the back of your mind. And when I'm actually looking at the trophy now, it's right in front of me, but when you actually do it, you can't quite believe it. Yeah, like there's still some days where I'm like, wow, I actually did that.
Did you ever sleep with the trophy?
No.
You lie. Finbar, would you have slept with it?
The trophy?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, me too. Seriously, Nicole, I hope you're telling a fib. If not, then take it, give it a little cuddle tonight. So, Nicole, it's a magnificent achievement, especially at such a young age. But when you went there, did you feel, when you started playing, different than other times? I mean, you've had great, you've done very well in other tournaments, but did you feel something different this particular year?
I think I was just in a good headspace, really, which definitely helps with your bowls. And like when other things are going well, I guess, around you, it takes the pressure away, and you can just focus on doing what you do best, kind of thing. So at that point, I was happy in my job. I just started a new job, and I had 2 weeks off work for nationals, and I didn't need to worry about taking leave or anything like that. Everything around me was happening was just going well. So I think that definitely played a huge effect on helping me win that one.
And beating Mandy Boyd in the final. I mean, you beat other top players on the way, but beating Mandy, who's won 7 national titles, and you'd played her in in bowls 3-5 as well. That must have been a bit of a thrill.
Definitely, like she's got, like you said, she's got many titles, and yeah, like I've grown up watching her and playing against her and the likes of Kitty Hawks and stuff like that. So to actually get the win was pretty huge.
Well, congratulations on that. Now, Finbar, you got really close as well, didn't you? I believe you semi-finalists in the singles.
Yeah, yep. Made the semi-final. Was actually thinking about that when I got to the semi. I'm like, oh, but how cool would it be if we won Bowls 3-5 and then we get 2 national singles champions? But just got pipped on the line. Was a bit disappointed, but I played Rory Soden and he just outplayed me in that game.
There's no disgrace in losing to him. It's still a magnificent. You've still got many years in front of you, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you're only going to get better. So that's like saying, it's an amazing achievement to get 2 from that bowls 3-5 that far through. Now, did you go further in the tournament than your good mate Seamus?
Yes, I did, Miles.
So the way you're laughing there, didn't he make it out of section play?
No, I think he did qualify. He did qualify, but I think he lost round 1 or 2 in post section. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he was basically carrying your drinks for the rest of the tournament. But hey, that's what good mates are for. Where do you, Nicole? Presumably, you've got one eye on the Commonwealth Games. Where are you as far as that goes in terms of? Are you in the high performance squad? Or are you in any sort of extended training squads?
Yeah, so we actually just had our training camp last weekend, and that was effectively a trial to get down to a 10-person squad, I guess. And before the Commonwealth Games, there's meant to be a Trans-Tasman as well. So they were looking at getting to 10 for the Trans-Tasman, and then after that, I think they're looking at cutting it down to 5, I think it is. So yeah, still in the squad. Managed to make it through to the next training camp, but I think that's a bit of help from COVID as well. But yeah, at the moment, still training hard to try and make that team.
What about you, Finbar? Presumably you've got sort of blackjack aspirations.
Yeah, so sort of in the same boat as Nicole at the moment. I'm in the high performance squad, and then also made it to that next trial thanks to COVID. But yeah, I was just doing as best as I can, and trying to push for those teams and get capped, become a capped player for New Zealand, I guess.
Nicole, would you recommend bowls as a sport to young people who are, maybe leaving school, even still at school?
Definitely. I mean, I was playing at school and it was great, and I think more recently, I think the thinking has changed from it being an old person sport, where I'm getting more people going from that to being like, oh yeah, I saw bowls on TV the other day. There were quite a lot of people, weren't there? So I think, yeah, it's definitely growing, and it's definitely a bit of fun, and it's definitely worth a try.
I think I saw somewhere that they were saying that often the average age of the blackjacks is younger than the average age of the black caps. So maybe it is rapidly a sport that is attracting younger people into it. What I would like to do, though, as we come to the end of this, I could chat to you guys for ages, but unfortunately we get limited by people's attention spans, and they probably turn off after 5 minutes of listening to me. I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions. So we go, Nicole, you can answer first, and Finbar, you can answer second. They'll be the same question, though, for answer them. So first, Nicole, have you got a pet?
Yes, I've got a cat.
And what's the cat's name?
Chaos.
I like that. And was it named because it's chaos, or was it just the name, and does it live up to its name, or did you name it because it was chaos straight away?
He certainly lives up to his name, but growing up, I always had cat names around that topic. So I've had Mischief and Trouble and Rascal, so it was only fitting that this one had a similar name.
What about you, Finbar?
Yeah, I've got a dog called Arlo.
Why Arlo?
So it's a white shepherd, and my mum wouldn't let me call it Snowy. So we had a look on the name generator, and Arlo popped up, and we just liked the sound of it. So we went with that.
It's a good way to pick names, actually. I've got a 18-month one-old called Olive, and we did it by looking through baby names.
Oh, yeah.
So it's exactly the same type of thing. Sports team. Nicole, have you got what is your favourite sports team? And don't say the Stokes Valley Vipers.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not a bowl team, I'd probably have to go with the All Blacks because that's really the only other sport I watch.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Finbar?
I'll be a bit different, and the Houston Rockets.
Deary me. Right, now why the Rocket?
Oh, I love watching basketball. I played it all up until high school, and all my mates, we all got into it. And there was a player, James Harden, which I love watching him play. Not many people do, but I'm one of them.
Yeah, no, but isn't he with the Nets or something now? Hasn't he moved on, Harden?
Yes, he has moved on. He left us, but still, yeah.
No, you can't change the team just because that superstar goes. You can still keep an eye on him, which is fair enough. So, would he be your favourite sports person? Or is there someone else you really admire?
Favourite sports person would probably be LeBron James.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but you can't. You'd be following every team in the league if you followed him around. You know.
Yeah, I'm not a bandwagon, Miles, and I'll put my life on that.
Yeah, well, I've been supporting the Chicago Bulls since Adam was a boy, and after about supporting them for about 15 years, we finally won something, and then we haven't won anything since. So I'm the same as you. What about sports person for you, Nicole?
I don't know. I don't follow that intensely to have a favourite person.
We'll say Seamus Curtin, right? I'll say that he's your favourite sports star. I'll put that down there for you. Okay, Nicole. Do you go? I don't know if you go to the movies much or not. Have you got a favourite movie?
Yep. We bought a zoo.
We bought a zoo.
Yep.
All right, I'll have to have a look at that one. I think I've heard of it somewhere, but I can't say I've ever watched it. What about you, Finbar?
Oh, probably Coach Carter.
Coach Carter?
The basketball one, yeah.
All right, I can see the big basketball theme coming in. Nicole, your favourite band or type of music, if you could go and see any band in the world, who would it be? You can say Taylor Swift or something if you want. But
I've already seen it.
Was it good?
Yes, it was. It was actually in Ireland, so.
Oh, there we go. So we are very posh. What about you, Finbar?
I would probably want to see J. Cole. I'm not sure if you've heard of him.
I have. I don't know if I'd want to go and see him, though. But
really?
It's not me. I'm just getting you the tickets. You're going. I'm not going. So that's
I could see you at a concert with him, Miles.
Yeah, I might. I've got a wide-ranging taste, not just old man music, as my kids tell me. Finally, Nicole and Finbar, I'm not wishing this on either of you, but we always ask everyone at the end of our podcast, if you were to end up on death row, what would be your last meal, Nicole?
It would have to be a dessert item, or probably creme brulee.
Oh, yeah, I like creme brulee. Now,
or panna cotta. One of those two.
What about creme caramel? Yep. Have you had that? Yeah.
Yep,
I prefer that because you get more, rather than creme brulee is the one where they put the torch on the top and crystallise it, don't they? I like the creme caramel because you get all that nice caramelly stuff. What about you, Finbar? And you're allowed to have a main as well as a dessert.
A main and a dessert. Oh, I'd have to go with Japanese, probably like a chicken katsu bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge dessert fan. Probably just a little sip on some Baileys.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I'll tell you what you could do is you could get another creme brulee and pass it to your cellmate next door.
It's not a bad option. Get in the good books.
Because I'll put you both on death row together, you see. So you could do that. Well, guys, it's been so much fun chatting to both of you. You really are, the two of you,